Welcome back to another edition of Easy Eats for Everyone. I'm Chef Stephanie, your Culinary Arts Manager. This is Joelle, our Hospitality Program Manager, and today she's going to be showing us how to make her sesame cookies. Yes, we're going to be making our sesame cookies that we make every year in our family during Christmas time. These cookies are really delicious, and they pair really great with like coffee and hot chocolate and all those fun things. So good for adults, good for kids, and I can't wait to show you how to do them. All right, before we get started, make sure you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and pull back your hair. Now Joelle's going to go over our ingredients and our utensils that we'll need for today.
All right, so to get ourselves set up to make these cookies, we'll need a couple different things from the pantry. So to start, we're going to need 6 cups of flour. You will use 1 cup of shortening, a tablespoon of baking powder, 1 cup of confectioners sugar, 3 eggs, sesame seeds that haven't been dampened or been toasted yet. We'll use vanilla, some salt, and we'll be using milk to get the cookies damp so that the sesame seeds can latch on real nice. For the cooking utensils that we'll use, you'll need some baking sheets with parchment paper, a mixing bowl, a spatula, a teaspoon, and a whisk. All right, so we're gonna get started on mixing our ingredients to get these cookies rolling, no pun intended. So don't forget, you wanna make sure your oven is preheating to 350 degrees. So to start, I've got my flour here. I'm just going to take a little spatula and just kind of toss it into a different mixing bowl. Make sure that there's no flour that kind of gets on the table and stuff, although when you are doing this with little ones and family, it is kind of fun to make a mess sometimes. I've got my tablespoon of baking powder. I'm gonna just kind of coat in there. And then for salt, as us Italians like to say, a pinch. Just kind of take a little eyeball it out. You don't want it to be too much. So I'm gonna take my whisk here and just kind of mix it all together. Sometimes the flour is a little clumpy, so you just use your whisk to kind of even it out, making sure that some of those clumps aren't formed in there, and you've got a nice even coat of flour, salt, and baking powder. All right, so for the next step, we are going to start to combine our shortening and our confectioner's sugar. I'm going to use the KitchenAid for this with the paddle attachment. It just helps create a little bit of air to make this combination nice and fluffy. And then we're going to put it on mix for about 2 minutes, and you can watch as it starts to like cream together a little bit as we start to prepare for the next couple of steps. All that in there. Once you've lifted your mixer up, you can go ahead and turn it on. I usually just try to start slow and kind of see how it starts up. So I'm going to just push it to like the number 2. It's a little slow, so I'm going to move it up just a little more. You can see how it's starting to kind of come together and crumble up a little bit and combine. And as more air hits it, it will become more smooth. So I usually stop it a little bit halfway through and just start to push all the 2 ingredients to the center a little bit, just to make sure everything gets mixed together. Sometimes it gets stuck on the bottom of the bowl too, so you want to just make sure everything is fully together before you start adding in the other ingredients. And I can turn it back on again. Get it all mixed up. So from there, I'm going to add in 1 egg at a time. Once the eggs are added in and start to mix in, I'm going to add in my vanilla flavoring. So I'm just going to crack this egg right into the bowl. So once it's kind of caught on a little bit, you can crack another one in. All right, so now I'm going to add in our vanilla. I do usually start with a teaspoon of vanilla to get it mixed up in there, and then as I add in the dry ingredients, I want to be able to like smell the vanilla to know that there's enough in there for flavor. So I'll start there, and if I have to add more in as we go, we can do that. And now I'm just going to, I've got my mixing bowl with my dry ingredients. I grabbed a big spoon to help just kind of keep things even when putting this in there, because sometimes it gets, it can fly all over the place. So you might want a tool to just kind of push it in there a little at a time. But it's coming together nice. Look a little crumbly. Sometimes you might have to add in a little bit more of the shortening. So I kind of started with maybe like 1/3 of a cup, and I'm just gonna eyeball it and wait to see how the dough starts to form. If I need to add a little bit more, I will. All right, so I did end up adding a tiny bit of milk in there just to kind of get the dough to start forming a little tighter. So when the dough is forming, you do want it to have this kind of consistency to it, something that you can put in your hands and be able to kind of roll together. So I'm just gonna let this move around for a minute. I'm gonna stop it, and as it was before, kind of scraping the dough off the paddle, kind of pushing everything in just to make sure everything's together. And this dough is actually almost ready for rolling. All right, so our next step is going to be forming the dough into the little nuggets, as we call them. So I've got my dough here. All I'm going to do is just kind of take my hand and start to kind of roll the dough together, just to get little pieces together, get everything kind of mixed together into like kind of a ball. So what we like to do is, I've got my milk here and my sesame seeds. So I'm just going to take like a pinch of dough, probably that might be a little bit more than a tablespoon worth. Grab it. I'm going to take it in upon my hands and start rolling it and squeezing it at the same time, because we want to form these little oval kind of nuggets, if you will. And then what we do is we dip it in the milk to get it wet, so that when we roll it into these sesame seeds, the seeds stick right to the cookie. Place it right on the parchment paper on the tray. So we're just going to line these up. When you put them on your tray, you'll probably give them like a little bit of, maybe like space them out an inch. They will not expand when they go in the oven. You still don't want to keep them on top of each other, but just know that they're not going to widen or anything like that. And so we will fill up this tray and toss them in the oven once we are all set. All right, so we have completed a half a sheet worth of our sesame seed cookies. So we're going to put them in the oven. To do so, I am going to wear an oven mitt, just for safety and stuff like that. So I'm also going to set my timer. I'm going to start on 15 minutes. These tend to take 20, sometimes 25 minutes to bake, but I'm going to set it at 15 because I like to check it, a little bit more than halfway through, and I want to make sure, I'm looking to make sure that the bottoms of the cookies are turning a light brown. That's how I know that they're going to be ready. All right, so our timer's gone off. I did check the cookies at 15 minutes, and they did need some more time. We ended up cooking them for about 25 minutes, 27 minutes, just for a little extra brown to the bottom of the cookies. So I'm going to pull them out of the oven now. All right. Those look very nice. They're going to be super hot when you touch them. So either use a little spatula to lift them up, because you want to check the bottom of the cookie to make sure that there's just a little bit of like a light brown color to them, because that's how you know that they'll be done and ready to go. Nice light brown on the bottom of there, but that indicates to us that the cookie is ready to go. And they are ready for that coffee or hot chocolate.
All right, our sesame cookies are all done. They look fabulous. Can't wait to try them. Thank you so much, Joelle, for sharing your recipe with us. And thank you for coming to another edition of Easy Eats for Everyone, where cooking should be easy and fun for everyone. Happy holidays!